so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm doing pretty well lately. I visited my mom recently, which is what I call it when I walk out of the childhood bedroom that I still live in. Yeah. I live with my mom. I have a good excuse though. I suffer from a really debilitating physical ailment called poverty. It really binds you up, you know. I make poor financial decisions. That's what my biggest qualm is at the moment. Here's an example of a pretty big one. I went to college to study music with a concentration in the classical guitar. Yeah. How willing to ignore red flags do you have to be when one of the words in the title of your college major means, yeah, nobody does this anymore? I enjoy doing it. I learned a lot as a performer. But it's not necessarily the most applicable of job skills, of course, which is why I personally reserve the right to walk into any public place, anytime I feel like it, with a guitar, and just start playing the song Wonderwall. You know, that staple of the classical guitar repertoire, Wonderwall. I would never actually do it, of course. But I've got like my speech prepared just in case anybody were to ever like object or just like walk away politely. Gotta just shake my guitar at them like, you listen to me. You have no idea what this means to me. You have no idea how much time and effort and money, mostly money, that I poured into this. And for what? Nothing. There is nothing in this. There's no future in this. I try to envision a future involving this, and what I've come up with thus far is nothing. So all I have is today. Today, which is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now, you should have realized that I don't know all the words to that song. Sorry. Things are fun. I suffer from major depressive disorder. Don't worry, I'm happy about it. It's fine if you know how to manage and treat it and you find the right treatment for yourself. I've been taking antidepressants ever since I was 19. I would have started earlier, but I was just so upset with the way that antidepressants advertise themselves. Like, I started taking Zoloft when I was 19, and I just remembered the commercial for Zoloft when I was a kid, just that blob that would just roll around, and it's just like, is this you? Are you just this featureless nothing? Is the only thing anybody can say about you that you have 2 eyes and a mouth that's never smiling? And I was so incensed. I was like, that is not me. How dare you? I am not this blob. I am a phoenix that doesn't feel like rising from the ashes today. How dare you? I'm 11. I don't have the faculties to explain it further, but I can do better than whatever ad rep for Pfizer came up with this horse shit. And then when I was 19 and I started taking Zoloft, I realized, oh no, they nailed it. They crushed it. Grand slam for Zoloft. They crushed it. And now as a 29-year-old man, I look at that like, wow, that blob really seemed like he knew how to hold it all together, guys. You have no idea the things I would do most days just to have enough energy to be able to go outside and frown at a butterfly. I think a silver lining of my depression is that it's made me a more empathetic person. That's always been important to me. Like, I wasn't a very smart kid, I'm not a very smart guy, but I've always cared a lot about other people. Like, I was very gullible as a child, you know, but I wanted people to be treated fairly. Like, I remember when I was a kid, another kid told me that women didn't have middle names. Which, as far as lies go, that one is diabolical. Because it's so innocuous that it's just like, who would make that up? How would they even think to come up with that sort of lie? but it's so ridiculously big that I would be too embarrassed to ever fact check with any woman in my life. So I just had to sit there and believe it, which I did for a while, to the point where I would see a woman's name written down. I would have like a middle name or initial, and I would just think to myself, wow, we really have come a long way. Oh my God, if we can give women middle names, then maybe someday we'll be able to cure the cancer you get when your hand is bigger than your face. It sounds like a great comeback story for Susan G. Komen. But I've always been an empathetic person, and I've always tried to relate to people who have different experiences than me. For example, a couple years ago, one of my best friends came out as transgender. And it's really nice when someone you know that well is comfortable enough to come out to you as trans, because it feels like you get to meet someone you know again for a second time. You get to meet a friend, and that's great, especially for someone like me who's very socially anxious. You know, because it's like, I love meeting new people, as long as I'm well acquainted with them first. But you know, we went to college together. She's an amazing classical guitarist and pianist in her own right. Her rendition of Wonderwall is breathtaking. And I remember she came to me, I was talking with her a while back, and she told me about a big milestone she went through in her transition, where she had been gendered correctly by a stranger for the first time. And she explained it to me by saying that it felt like people in society were finally starting to see her on the outside the way she had always felt about herself on the inside. And that's really beautiful and touching, and it's something I can completely relate to. Because in 5th grade, a kid named Robbie called me a sad-ass bitch boy. And I just thought to myself, oh my God, that is exactly my pronoun. How did you know, you beautiful young man? All my friends are like, Sean, I think you were being bullied. I'm like, no, I was having a life-changing affirmation of self. You just need to read more intersectional feminist literature. Because what you're doing right now is called sad-ass bitch boy erasure, and neither me nor anybody else in the LGBTQSABB community will stand for it.